Our marketing plan, some of you see it and it's so ingenious that you see ways to manipulate it. And that's only because it's a miracle creator. It's like changing football with a forward pass and pitch out, man in motion. Do you understand that? Totally changes the game. And, but there's some vulnerabilities in it. Why do we love the plan? I mean, if anybody's been around, first of all, it changed the industry. But not only did it change the industry, it was so powerful that we created a new model, a new industry. And we're leading the parade, and it's in its infancy. This is like the beginning of cars, or the beginning of telephones, or the beginning of Google. And it's just as big as any of those, the power of it. And there's not one reason, one valid, intellectual, logical argument that can explain why it won't work. At this point, the only reason it won't work is that you won't do it. And then I'll go find somebody else. Because it's an idea whose time has come. And it's going to work because I'm going to make it work. And I hope that you're with me. Because the early adopters are the ones that make it. But let's think about this. What makes the plan so revolutionary when you contrast it to the antiquated things that are out there? Okay, well, it only takes two legs. I didn't say two people, two legs, okay, rather than contrasting that to anything else, 10 to 20 to make six figures, right? Arlene, you're not going to be able to do it. Some of you complain about two. What were you if you were in another company, the antiquated, old-fashioned way, and had to build 10 to 20? Well, the statistics over 50 years show that the average person from the DSA is able to sponsor 2.84 people and keep them for a year. So we're under two, but the real reason for two is the smallest multiplier that exists. You can't have a half of a person. So two's the smallest, and we figured out how to pay the most money on the smallest production. There's a vulnerability in that. Somebody may be able to manipulate if they don't follow the rules. That's why we make you follow the rules. Vertical compounding versus horizontal diffusion. When you got to keep adding people on, nobody has a common interest. It's a dog-eat-dog fight. They're all competing. But the way this works, profit and stability are built vertically because you have to secure each leg, so that's building depth. Normally, profitability is in width, but it's only two here. All the profitability is in depth. That's miraculous. You know who invented that? They said it couldn't be done. And, downline placement of sponsoring and reentries. You're able to multiply and expand your profitability, multiply your income, and speed it up and help develop security rather than going, why? I sponsor 4 people per leg. And I build a team. And it goes so fast, it doesn't lose momentum. Do you do that? But that's a tremendous advantage because I don't have to build them wide and I can continue to profit down. But it's not about downline placement of volume. That makes no sense. Why would you give your volume up to somebody else downline that didn't do it? That's going to create an obligation and expectation and weaken them. I want to duplicate. Oh, I know why. You figured out a way to beat the system. Well, guess who the system is? You. You're going to find out that you just beat yourself. So, a boomerang. Okay, and by the way, there's no residual income in that. Okay, so people are on different clocks. Have you ever thought about this? Every single one of you are on a different clock. I built this into the plan. So when one person hits a level or a threshold and gets paid, and they go faster than somebody else, it doesn't affect them. They keep their volume, both volumes are adjusted, and the time clocks are all different for every single one of you in here. So if you go faster, you can earn more, but it doesn't hurt anybody above or below. You go slower, same thing. It's pretty miraculous, extremely complicated. Unlimited search to infinity. So symmetry isn't important. Filling out levels isn't important, okay? You just build and build and build. It's like water running down a mountain, the path of least resistance. Not everybody's going to do it. Timing has a lot to do it. They're not all going to do it at the same time. There's a randomness to it. And that randomness is an actuarially reality that's been proven and verified over 25 years. But when somebody breaks that and forces it all to go down one way, unless they're doing all the requirements of real people, the plan doesn't work. If everybody's doing what they're supposed to do, it works. So I had to bring in the 5th year, actuaries and mathematical experts that do multiple calculus derivatives on the ratios of volume, and volume being regenerated versus new volume versus people being paid, because it's a constant cycle. Very complicated. We perfected it. But if you try to beat the system, and I'm going to do a seminar on this, a webinar, because I believe that some of the smart people that work so hard to beat the system don't really understand that they're destroying the opportunity, the marketing plan in themselves, and it doesn't work. It'll never produce residual income. And if you understand that, maybe that's the real excuse, that you don't know. So your entrepreneurial zeal turns a little bit bad boy, and you thought you were doing something tricky and smart because you didn't understand why it doesn't work mathematically for you or us. Does that make sense? Is that being fair? Oh, come on, I'm being really fair. I'm saying, I'm making an excuse for your bad things. You know, what else? 100% credit for all volume in a string to infinity without any dilution. You know what dilution means? You get 10%, you get 9, you get 8, you get 7, you get 6, you get 5. Everybody gets 100% credit as long as they're active, as long as they're real, as long as they're not passive, and as long as they're carrying their load and meeting the requirements. If you don't do that, I can't do it. So, you know. All the requirements are integrated. I'll explain this later. Yeah, you don't buy 200 to qualify. You sell through $200 worth of products over 90 days to qualify. You say, you don't have to do 50 a month. 50 a month times 3 is 150, which is 200 retail. And you're selling that. And that's why the customer aspect is so important. And it's all documented, unless you turn in fake receipts. Then you committed to fraud. We're not going to be in trouble with the government. Are you understanding this? What, 150? Why 150? 150 a month for somebody already making money, they should have the customers. And statistically, it's proven that they do. Well, 150 sold through is 200 retail. Are you getting this? You don't know this, but everything matches. Everything's integrated. Everything is self-reconciling. I'll go through it in a seminar, but it's a lot more than you think. It makes perfect sense. So you get 2 checks from the same people. I know it was hard without the shopping annuity, but linking the 2 of them together, really, you don't like it, but it makes you more money at the end of the day. So normally you're going to have to build more. We actually provide the opportunity to earn 2 checks on the same customers and organization, and it's exponentially 4 times easier with the shopping annuity. Well, you don't think it works because you never tried it. You see, you never tried it, and you're not going to know until you try it. But it does work, and it's worked for a lot of people. Okay, so I don't know why I got off on that, but the thing is, in our business, it's kind of miraculous. You work in cooperation rather than in competition. You have all these advantages. It's an unfranchise, and I want to speak to this. An unfranchise means that every unit does it the same way. Same presentation, same materials, same products, same system. Somehow that has gotten lost a little bit, and we're going to go back to it. You know why? All of us have made money. That's what made it work. Is this making sense? So I'm not going to do this, but I'm going to do it in a seminar. The differences and advantages of our business over all other business. I think most of you know them. You're talking about 2 organizations versus 10 to 20 in order to have the same income and not have any security or stability by other people making money, because they have to duplicate that in results, like Mark said it today. It requires too many people and too much volume for any one individual to make money, and for them to sustain it, they got to duplicate the same thing. So we got the solution. You say, we are the miracle. When people say MLM, this is totally different. It's a tracking system. And let me show you.